Hello, everybody, and welcome to Women of Dance. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and I'm so excited to be back with a regular episode. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's panel discussion. It was so great to have those women on, and we're definitely going to do more panels throughout the course of the show. Women in bachata, women in other styles of dances. But speaking of bachata, today we have a very special guest. She is a multiple time world champion for bachata cabaret and a very dear friend of mine. Please welcome today our guest, Regan Hirose. Hello.
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing, and always great to see your beautiful face.
It's always so great to see your beautiful face. I've missed you so much. Like we used to see each other all the time. And
I
then it was like,
know. I just can't believe that we haven't actually been able to hug each other
I know.
for 3 years at least,
It's gonna make
probably.
me cry. I don't want to cry. I miss you.
I know I miss you too, but soon enough.
Soon enough. I know. We were just talking. We got to see each other the other day via Zoom, and it
Yeah,
was like so exciting because it was like,
I know. And you got to see the babies.
your babies are the cutest things ever.
Thank you so much.
How old are they now?
They're 14 months. I know that sounds funny. Now I'm a mom and I say things like 14 months, but it's just because they're over a year, but they're a year, basically.
Unbelievable. And
Yeah.
you were dancing throughout your pregnancy too.
I was, yeah. Like I was just determined to not stop. I mean,
I love it.
I have some advices for women that are gonna
Well,
go
we'll
through
get into
the same.
all of that stuff
Yeah,
for sure. For
yeah,
sure. You just brought up the babies, so I had to mention the babies because they're so cute. The way this works for anyone who's watching the show for the first time, we are streaming live to Facebook and YouTube. If you have any questions for Regan or myself, please put them in the comments. We will try to get to them as best as possible. Regan, I want everyone to get to know you. So let's take it back to the beginning. Give us a little bit of background and tell us how your dance life began.
okay, yeah. So I started really late actually dancing. And when I say late, like honestly, probably took it seriously at 25, 26.
Wow.
Yep. That's when I started. I like dabbled in it a little bit here and there, like from when I was like it really started my interest when I was 19. I was in France for school, for university,
Oh, what did you
and
study?
I studied accounting. I
Oh,
majored in accounting,
okay.
and minored in international business and Spanish. So I went to France. I know that doesn't make sense, but
It doesn't, but I love it anyway. Go on.
I grew up in French immersion. In Canada, we speak French, and I wanted to continue my French, so I went to university in France.
Okay.
And yeah, like I basically saw some of my peers from Mexico dancing in a club, and I just fell in love, and it was salsa. And so I started with salsa, and I started just taking classes for fun when I was in university. So I guess it started around 1920. And then I really focused on school. Honestly, I got my degree. I even got my um, accounting designation,
Mhm.
CPA in the US. It's now just changed to CPA here. It's like a certified public accountant, I think it's called. Anyway, so I did all of that. And then after I did that, I still was like dabbling in dance for fun, but I took it seriously once I met Harold. I actually was doing a show with him, like that
Mhm.
they'd asked some local dancers just to kind of help out, which I'd never done anything like that. And that's when we started dating, actually. Yeah. And then we started dancing together. And then I'm just someone that when I really want something, I focus really hard on it. And we literally just lived in the dance studio and just dance. Oh my God. This is
This isn't Harold though,
This is not Harold. This is
but this is
actually
2009. I told
this
you. I
was the
warned her
first
people I
routine I
wasn't gonna tell
ever
her how far
did.
back I went.
Holy shit. This is the first routine I ever did with my good friend Allison. I need to get a copy of this because she's gonna love it. It's a girl, and we fooled everyone. They thought it was a boy because there were no boys in the city at the time, and there was no one I was really like dancing with. So we made this up as a joke to
Oh my
compete.
god.
in a competition, in a local competition.
That is
And we
so,
made our own
so
costume. That
funny.
is so nuts. You really did dig deep. I
Oh,
didn't even know this was on, like, available to the public, to
I
be
found
honest.
it on YouTube. I will send you the link.
Oh my god, this is really where I started, to be honest. I forgot about this. I didn't even remember this.
Do you understand what that makes how
Aventura.
good that makes me feel right now as like a journalist that I
No,
found
like,
something
I
you didn't even know
actually
existed?
you said, "Where did it all start?" And I always say, that time, but it was here. This is when I was just having fun with dance. Like, it was just for fun. I was in university, and this is one of my best friends. And we love to joke around. We made this routine, and we were trying to, like, just, I don't know. We were just having fun.
I wish I could play the music for everybody to hear it because I have to say over the course of your career, there's been some very eclectic music choices, very different, and I love
Thank
it.
you.
Um, I don't think any routines sound the same,
Oh,
but
appreciate that, babe.
so if this was in college, does this mean that bachata was actually your first performance?
Yeah.
Ah, look at
Oh my
that. You
god,
were a
see,
bachatera
it
before
was
you even knew it.
really that's so funny because I really did start. I always say started with salsa, which, I mean, the interest started with salsa for sure, but I think this was my first routine.
Oh, I
It
love it.
actually was. Wow, it was bachata. There you go.
Amazing,
Oh, Sharonne.
amazing.
Oh
I
god,
love it.
scary.
Um,
But it was fun.
it was definitely
Amazing.
fun, I'm sure.
It
I'm
was.
sure. So, okay, well, let's talk now. This performance, I'm gonna ask about this one right
Oh,
here.
wow. What is this? I don't even know what this is.
You're in the back.
Oh, I don't recognize. What is happening? We're all falling.
This
This
was a
has to
D
be folklorama. This is like what?
this was DC Bachata Congress 2010.
This is not me. Are you sure? That's not
And
me.
you are tagged in this video online. If that's not, you need to talk to some video
If
people.
that is not me, that is
Okay.
not me. But that's funny. But that's not
That's
me.
really funny because you're literally tagged in the video. And so I was like, well, that's her in the back then.
I
But
wonder
it's
if you
okay.
helped.
This I know is you.
Oh my gosh. And this is, wow, you
You and
really.
Harold. Yep. So let's talk. You started this is where you thought your beginning started, right? With Harold. So let's talk about the beginnings.
No, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm not, when I talk about beginning, I talk about when we actually took it seriously. This was before we even ever thought a competition or any. This was us just having fun. This is when probably we started dating and we had this piece. This is the literally beginning with Harold before we even, like, taught, before we did anything. This was
Well,
us
that's the point. I
that's
want to take it back
crazy.
to the beginning.
I
You think I'm gonna
forgot about this too. Oh my gosh, I love you. I'm glad that you're bringing me to the beginning because this is important. I don't know why my brain goes to, like, when we really got serious about it, I guess. This was when we were just having fun, man.
this was Cubanissimo.
Yes, this was like Folklorama stuff. So we switched we renamed our company because this was a company for, like, Cuban arts that was passed down to Harold, and then we started teaching under it. And then it didn't make sense completely because we started doing on two, bachata, everything else. And then we started competing. So we changed it to RHR, which is our initials.
Hmm.
Latin Dance Company. And so, anyway, this was before we were, like, the RHR, I guess, was when we really started.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about RHR yet. I want to talk
Okay.
about this time period.
Yeah.
Tell me about this whole experience, getting into the performing. What
This
was the
was
training like for you at the time?
this was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was relaxed. It was when we had time. It was truly all just, that feeling when you first start and okay, this is good.
Yes.
That time, this is good that you're bringing me back to this. Because we all need this, especially as professionals that do it so often now, to
Mhm.
remind ourselves of those moments. And it's good to actually visualize and see it. is those moments when the perform, like about to perform and performing, it was all just crazy adrenaline, but like the maximum excitement. You're just so excited to kind of show off and show what you've been working so hard to do. Whereas I feel like that really does change for professionals. You do it so much, you're hard on yourself. There's these expectations. Oh my goodness. These are those times when all you care about is dancing and sharing what you've been working so hard, and you're so proud about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about what people think. You're actually the opposite. You're just excited to be like, look at what we've been doing. I miss those days.
And the funny thing is that that's what we all got into dance for, right? It was for these initial moments.
Oh my God.
And
And this routine, babe, do you see
uh-huh.
this outfit? It doesn't
Yes.
look like it at all. This costume was inspired by Karine and Rafael.
Really?
You have to go back at some point to see her costume, which is much different than this. This was us putting it together. Like, looks, I don't even know who made it, but it was inspired by hers because it was so beautiful.
Well, you actually segment beautiful transition right there to my next question. When you were starting in the beginning here, when you were just performing, competition wasn't a thing for you. Who were your female inspirations?
Well, I mean, I guess Karine must have been at this time. Um, oh my goodness. That's a really good question.
I try.
To be honest, like for bachata, it would have been what are their names from Spain? She was really tall and skinny.
Andre and Andrea and
Sylvie,
Sylvie?
Sylvie or something.
Something like, yeah, they won the Latin Cup.
They were like big at Land Cup. So for me, they were for sure huge inspiration in bachata. Like I love them.
They're
Um,
beautiful. We used to call them the Barbie and Ken of bachata.
right? They really were. They were amazing and beautiful, and they really just flowed and did everything so great. So they were a huge inspiration for bachata, but this is kind of before that time.
Hmm.
This is when we were really focused on salsa. So I would definitely say like David and Paulina. It was kind of that time of
Okay.
David, Paulina, Karina, Rafael. For sure, Karen, Karen and Ricardo. Um, but at this time, like we didn't know of them. We didn't know of them till 2013 or 14, I think. And that was before that. So
Well, speaking of 2013, 2014, and competition, your first competition, I believe, or at least as far back as I could find, you guys competed
2013.
at the World Latin Dance Cup. You did the on two division and you did the cha cha. This is your on two.
This was our first competition, world competition, and we had only done one competition before this in Canada. So this was really our first big competition.
What was it like being there for the first time?
It very intimidating because we'd never been around so many good dancers. I even remember Kathy Reyes was
Hmm.
like at our station. They had all these mirrors backstage. And I remember also like looking up to her and Francisco Cano and from LA. And she was like just kind of with us and doing her makeup and talking to us. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm with this celebrity. Like it was so fascinating and seeing all the people backstage. I remember Karen and Ricardo actually, they helped us with some stuff when they saw us rehearsing. With some stuff with like rules, and they were so nice. Anyway, it was such an incredible experience. It was the first time we were around this caliber of dancer that we didn't even know really. Like, I mean, we know it existed, but we'd never been around it and seen the backstage and been on a big stage like this and definitely not judged like that. I don't know. It was crazy. It was a lot going on, but we were so young. So, you know, when you're so young, like it's all just exciting. Like you're not like it's intimidating, but you're excited. You're just
Yeah, that
excited to do it. And like no one knew who we were. So, no expectations.
I love the costume here. But did you do your own costume designs or who did that for you?
Yes, we did everything. Like this one, like my mom helped with this one. Like she helped with a lot of our stuff at the beginning, and she laughs all the time that she says she never wanted to be a dance mom. I always wanted to be a dancer as a kid. I was put into violin, which was amazing. I grew up playing violin.
That's
And all
beautiful
my
and
siblings,
amazing.
Yeah, like played all the way to university very seriously. And then she always said, I didn't want to be a dance mom. And then she laughs because she's a dance mom.
Yeah,
She
she
literally
is.
still
You
thinks
do
she's
have a picture of violins in the background.
I do, because this is kind of just like a wall of random stuff. See, my dream was always to be a ballerina. I was meant to be a ballerina. I really believe that, even though I say that obviously I wasn't, if I'm not, but in a past life I was. I was a prima ballerina somewhere.
I believe
And
it.
yeah, I played violin my whole life. Like, I honestly thought I was going to do it professionally. Well, like, I mean, I basically did, like, because when you do it your whole life growing up, like, I was in the youth orchestra here,
Mm-hmm.
and you get gigs, and like I played in university too, like I played in the orchestra, but that was more out of like this guilt. I felt like I should still do it, but
If I
I
had
didn't really
known
play
that
anymore.
before, I would have asked you to bring your violin and play something for us on the
Hey,
show.
I have it in my closet, but I'm not going to play anything for you. It's not in tune. I have not picked it up for a minute. Next time
Next time for
I'll
sure.
prepare something for you.
We'll do an episode of the show called Hidden Talents of the Women of Dance.
Yes, I love it.
We could do like a talent show and everybody come out and do their things, have the people
Please,
judge who wins.
please, let's do that. That would be hilarious. Oh my
That's
god,
actually a really good idea. For those that are watching, let us know if you think that's a good idea.
that is
And to
brilliant.
all my past guests, I expect you to send me your hidden talents so we can actually get that done. That'd be great.
OMG.
Oh my god.
Yes, and this is our cha-cha.
Yes. I love cha-cha. Cha-cha does not get enough respect, I feel like, in this
I love it
scene.
too. I've been trying to convince Harold to do a cha-cha again, to be honest, because we did this just for like, again, it was our first year competing at Worlds, so we just did it to like get the nerves out and
Mhm.
be on stage, which is how bachata came around, by the way. We second year we're like, okay, instead of a cha-cha, we have this bachata. So we're like, let's just do bachata, and it had lifts. So I'm like, okay, we have to do cabaret. Anyway, maybe I'm going ahead for you because you're probably getting to that
We're
video.
gonna
So
get to
that's
that,
right.
yes, for
But
sure.
anyway, this was our piece that we did to calm our nerves.
Okay.
And
Who did
we
your
made it to
choreography for
finals, but
both
we
the
were like
routines?
last in finals. But whatever, it was just for fun.
Who did your choreography for both of your routines the first time you guys competed? Did you do them yourself or did you get
So we
a
did
coach?
the salsa, but we had lots of help from, we were being coached. Our first coach, actually, who we met in Canada in this little city, where we met Albert Torres too, which is why we were here, was John Nadvais. So
Ah,
he was our huge, huge inspiration and coach at the beginning for salsa. This was actually something we did for Folklorama. That was where I was telling you I was doing this. We were doing these showcases and things for the Cuban
mhm.
Pavilion. And we did this with this other couple from, oh, that's so horrible that I can't remember the country they're from. Anyway, South America, and they were up in Canada, and we did this with them. So then
Nice.
that's why we had it, and we used it just to calm nerves. Yeah.
I have a lot of performances from Canada, including this event that we've all
Oh,
been to many, many
you
times.
girl, you're killing me. You're making me laugh so hard.
Why? Why am I killing you? This is the whole point. Can I
This
just say?
was, this was, I think, this was our first, really like our first bachata. Like we had it just for fun. And then we used it as our calming, like just get the nerves out routine at Cup. So I guess we did it in Toronto, and my costume is from American Apparel.
Really?
Yep,
Get out of
from
here.
American Apparel.
See, that's the stuff that I love. I love it when we like MacGyver up costumes from like regular day things. It's the best.
That's how it all started, babe. And I remember you. This is the routine that this is the first time I met you at Worlds, the second year we went, 2014, when it was by the beach.
Mhm.
And we did our routine. And I don't know if it was the final, not this one, but I made my next costume. Do you remember?
Mhm.
And you came up to me after, and you were so sweet. And I also looked up to you because you had been competing for a while, and you were always at these competitions, and you were the sweetest. You always made me feel so comfortable because we didn't know anyone really. And
Yeah.
you came up to me, I remember, from this routine from the other costume, and you were like, I love your costume. Again, American Apparel.
I love it.
And I added like jewels and chains to it. And I remember you came up and complimented me on my costume, and I was like, "That's so nice."
I thought you looked beautiful. You always look beautiful.
You have always been so supportive and amazing, and you've just always made me feel confident, to be honest. Those women, all of us women, we need
Mhm.
to do that more, right? We need to make sure that when we feel something positive for another woman or a human, like not just women, right? For
Yeah.
anyone, that you go out of your comfort zone in a way, kind of, because I think most people are like, oh, no, I'm not going to say that, or they won't care. But
Mhm.
actually, like, kind compliments and comments can never be received enough, in my opinion. So
Agreed.
same with giving them, and I think that it's really amazing. And I honestly, you've inspired me to do the same because of how you made me feel. I
Aw.
do try to go out of my way to compliment when I really feel a way. That's important for someone to hear, because it does affect you, positive things. Here it is.
Yep.
So there's that routine,
And the costume.
polished for world competition, so it definitely looks different. And that's the costume.
Mhm.
And this was
Gorgeous.
the beginning of something amazing that happened with Harold and I with bachata. Again, we just did this for fun. I remember being backstage. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous because as other people I looked up to was Gabby
Mhm.
with Gabby and your partner and
Darling.
Darlin.
Yep.
And we really looked up to them, and me especially to her. She's a huge inspiration for me. That happened later as I got more into dance because I didn't know who she was before. And so, like, this year, oh my goodness, being backstage with her, I was like, I can't even believe I'm here. And I apologized to Harold. I was like, I'm really sorry, but I realized I signed us up for the wrong category, because I just did cabaret because we had like lifts, and then we saw these Italians, we saw Gabby and Darla, we saw everyone just practicing backstage, and I'm like so nervous to go out on this stage because I literally apologized to Harold in the line backstage, and I was like, I'm really sorry, I put us in the wrong category. This was supposed to like take our nerves away, not increase them.
Yeah.
And we
You
made
know,
it to
listen, you never
finals.
know.
Top 6, I think. We messed up in finals, by the way.
Listen, it
Very
happens.
bad.
It happens. Not
But
how
you know
often do
what?
you have a
Learning
perfect
experiences.
performance?
What was that?
How often do you honestly feel like you have a perfect performance?
Almost never.
Exactly. Almost never.
Yeah. Like if you
We're
look,
we're human.
never really. Yeah.
We're human. We make mistakes, and I think that's important for the viewers to understand too. Another reason
Hmm.
why I take these shows back to the beginning, because we
Yes, it
really
is
are
important.
human and we all start
We
somewhere.
all started from somewhere. I do love that comment. Oh, oh my gosh, this is a costume I never used.
What do you mean
Past
you never
this,
used? There's video of you using it right now.
but past this, I
Oh,
like used
okay.
it once and then I never used it again. Weird.
Why? It's so pretty.
I don't know. I ended up hating it.
It's so funny how we feel about costumes sometimes. You can love it and then you hate it afterwards for some reason.
Don't know, but it is pretty. Like, I mean, it needs some work on it, but I don't even know where that is. I probably have it somewhere. Oh my goodness.
Was that the
What
first time
year
you
is
did
it?
those spins?
That's the first time. Yeah. I didn't even know it went this far back. What routine is this? I can't hear the
This was
sound.
preparation for you guys for the next Latin Cup.
Okay, where I changed my costume. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So, for anybody who's ever watched the show, you see me always putting up all these videos, and one of the things that I do is I try to differentiate the videos by the routines by the costumes. But you, my dear,
Sorry. I
have
changed
so many costumes that at one point I had like 6 videos up and it was the same routine, but in different costumes.
because I'm telling you, like, I make it and then I start getting like, we get closer to worlds and I'm like, this isn't good enough. And then I make another one. And then I don't know. This was one that never made it, obviously.
I
But
like that
that's
you
so
said
funny. Salsa. See, guys, we started salsa on too.
your
That was
beginnings.
that was the beginning, and that was our focus, to be honest. It really was. I miss it. I mean, we still do it, obviously. We still teach and we still have teams, but
Mhm.
Harold and I don't focus on salsa.
It's funny you mentioned, like, the process of your costume throughout the year getting ready for competition. Let's talk about the process for you guys, right? If let's take 1 year of Harold and Regan and getting ready for competition, what does that look like for you guys?
That's a good question. It's a long, stressful process. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, for sure.
If we were to compete again, which we are retired, but if we were, I don't say I guess I would do things differently. That doesn't mean I regret anything, but my advices would be different for other people. But for us, we would first pick a song. Like always, this is a process. Harold would have songs already in mind. Harold's a music guy. He knows his music so well. And he would just have all these things in mind, and he knows me. Um, and basically always give me options. Seldomly, maybe some in bachata, I mean, obviously later in our career, like I would pick, but at the very beginning, he would for sure have all the songs, and then I would kind of pick and choose, or I'd be like, oh, I don't like this or that. And then he'd be like, well, what about this? Anyway, we'd go through and then we'd pick the song that we both agree and like love. And we're like, okay, this is it. So then we would start choreographing. Always. We were really, really obsessed with choreographing everything our own for like when we started competing. Like we wanted it to be ours. But we also understood the importance to work with our coaches. So, like I said, John Navas was our first coach. Him and
Mhm.
Andrew actually Cervantes were the first people we ever worked with professionally. When we saw them at a congress, a little city here. That's the only reason we met them. If it was a bigger city, we probably wouldn't have gone. We would have been intimidated. We went to this little city, smaller than ours,
Wow.
not really big in dance, and it just so happened that Albert Torres was doing a world competition there, which proves that people like Albert traveling the world and doing these things is what's spreading the dance and what's growing it, because people like us from a little city were like, okay, we'll just go, there won't really be
Yeah.
people there. And meanwhile, we're so lucky because little did we know we'd be exposed to all of these important people that would bring us to where we are right now, where we're living our dream. And so John was someone that we started with, that we'd always work with. So there was always that process. We would do it by ourselves. It would get changed drastically with John. This is in Saskatoon, I think. It might be.
Yeah, yes.
I think this is that little congress that I told you about that
Mhm.
unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, but maybe someone will bring it back. But I mean, I'm not shocked it doesn't exist just for the reason of how tiny the place is and this need of support from everywhere. And now there's so many events. So
Mhm.
people go to different places closer to them, right? So there's just not the same support, unfortunately. I mean, maybe it will come back. But anyway, so yeah, we always had that process. And then as we competed more, we met more professionals, and therefore we started getting more opportunities to work with other people. And so it becoming like this formula that we just would make a routine, and then we knew where we would be. Well, like at first we would travel to those places literally to work with these people, and then it became things that we made it work with the jobs we were doing or where we were going. So I'm not going to lie, once you do start traveling and getting hired, it does make it easier as a professional, because you're seeing other professionals on top of that, like becoming friends with
Mhm.
professionals and helping each other out, right? So our process was always to work with our main coaches, which was John. We worked with Tito Tamara, like most dance professionals do, and still
Mhm.
to this day. Billy,
Yep.
uh, Edwin's been someone that's been a really big influence in like giving us feedback, I would say.
Anya?
Anya is obviously like, she came in though after John, and for me, she is like John, like we still talk to and whatnot, but we don't work with him as much anymore, unfortunately, for just like, I don't know, just we've been kind of doing our own thing. But like Anya, I would say, like a lot of dancers coach, but they're not coaches, like in a
Yes.
sense of like they are for their teams and their city, and they'll coach other people. But when I say a coach, like for me, a coach is someone that comes on and literally not takes over, but like follows up with you. Like you feel their presence throughout your process. And I have felt that with Anya since the beginning, since we started working with her. And I'm sure most
Agreed.
people that work with Anya feel that way. She made Harold cry when she said, you know what, I want to work with you guys. You guys have potential, because she saw us for a first time after our first world competition. No one knew of us. It was at
Mhm.
Dance Cup. And then we went to Calgary where we met her and Billy. Those were the first time they saw us. And from that day, she said, I want to take you on. You guys have potential. And like, I remember, sorry, Harold, but it's true. He cried after, like sobbing, like, I'm like, just no one's ever believed in us, to that point where they're just like, I'm taking you on, you know? And don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, John was the reason that we even got as far as we did, to that point. And he continued to work with us. And yeah, we just worked with other dancers, and we work with like, oh my gosh, so many people now. Like obviously like Karen Ricardo, Karina Rafael have helped us. David Paulina have helped us a lot. I mean, I don't even want to miss names because there's just so many important people that have been a part of our journey, to be honest, you know?
That's something I really love about the dance community is how much we're all able to work with each other
Yes,
and
because
learn
that's
from
like
each other.
normal in these dance competition worlds, to be honest. Like schools stay with their school, and ballroom, they do not help each other out,
I know.
right? And it is, this is one thing I do love about this community. It's a very unique community. One, look at me. I started very late, and I became a professional in my late 20s. Like, I don't know, like 30 was my first competition, I think, that we won in 2015. I was 30. So it's something that you can get into later in life, which is so important, because dance is important. And unfortunately, the way this world is built, they do not support arts and things like that to continue and be in a career, unfortunately, right? It's just the way the
Mhm.
world is right now. I hope that that continues to, like, people are pushing forward to change that. But so as an adult, some people never got those opportunities as a kid, right? And you're so
Mhm.
influenced by what your parents put you in or what the schools offer. And if you don't get those things, you don't get it, right? You don't get exposure. So as an adult, being a dance genre that you can get into as an adult and later in life, and you can look at my story. I became a professional and I do it as a career. Like, what? I never thought that would ever happen. Like, I'm so blessed, and it's because of this industry. And then it's just so accepting. And like you said, we all work together and we all help each other. And like, yeah, we go into competition, but afterwards we're like, bro, that was amazing.
I know.
Excuse me. And we're just like so in awe of one another, you know, and we actually do help each other,
Yep.
you know, so it's beautiful.
This costume, I must say, this was the first one piece, right, that you did?
This was the first one piece.
And
We
I
weren't sure.
love one pieces. I love them. I'm such a fan.
Yeah, this was the first one we did. And this was our first competition we won, and we did not go in there thinking we are going to win. Like I said, this was our, we just love this piece.
Yep.
Just want to do something we love and get the nerves out for salsa. Always. It was always like salsa was the focus. So this one we had two different costumes because we wanted to save this for finals. Like if we got to finals type thing.
Mhm.
And we did. So this is the final. And this was a unique song choice. It was different. I mean,
At this
I do
point,
feel
was
like we
Harold
brought
still
something
picking the
different this
music?
year.
At this point, was Harold the one that was picking the music still?
This was both of us. Like at this point, like we were both picking what it was. This selection, though, I wanted to do this. I do love different things, and this was like a reggaeton like mix.
Mhm.
So I really do push the mix things, and he was about it, and like I thought it was a cool, I don't know, mix. I think.
Talk to me about flying in the air, because you know me, I'm like you, I love to fly, I love to be in the air. I distinctly remember, and this is there's no video of this because there's no video of what happens, but Calgary, the professional Jack and Jill, that happens the last night. There's no
Okay.
video of it, but I remember we were
There's
all
no video
swapped.
of it.
There's no videos of it.
Okay.
They never posted videos, but they had us rotating partners, and you got paired up with Darlin. And I remember he put you in the air and your feet didn't touch the floor the entire round.
That was so fun.
You literally stayed in the air the whole time. He was like, I didn't even have to put her down. She just kept contorting up there. Like
Yeah, he's so strong,
it
first
was
of
so
all.
amazing to see. So can you talk to us a little bit about the cabaret life and the training that you have to put in to do it? Because it's so hard. And I don't think people realize just how much work is involved for the woman to be able to do those things in the air and how
Yeah, for
scary it is for
sure.
us. So
No, for sure. And it's funny because when I started, it was natural. Like I just I don't know. In my 20s, I was extremely like high energy.
mhm,
I still am high energy. I feel like considering my age and how busy I am, I guess. Like I'll give myself credit, but I do feel a lot more tired and like not with that kind of energy. So I feel like stuff like with Darlin, like for me, that was just like he made it easy because he's so strong.
mhm,
And like I guess I don't know what it is. I've always loved flying. I always love being in the air. I love tricks. Like I just love, I don't know, flying, I guess.
mhm. I get
Um,
it, I get it. I'm right there with you. I love it.
I love it. But definitely like it takes, like you said, I always say it's like a 70-30 ratio of efforts. The girl has to do 70, the guy 30, but I'm just kidding. It's really 50-50. But we do have to do a lot. Like you really have to have a strong core. And listen, I had my baby, so I lost all my core strength, completely lost everything. And I will have to say for myself, I do think it did come out very naturally for me. But
Mhm,
after I've had the kids and getting older, like I do appreciate what kind of shape you need to be in and the technique, how much it helps.
mhm,
Because my recovery was really long and Harold and I were starting to dance before I was recovered. And I really couldn't hold myself up, and it really was hard to get back into things, to be honest. But yeah, like just that conditioning of your core is everything. Like if you are
mhm,
not strong in your core, it's really difficult. So I always say that because I feel like even people take our trick classes sometimes, or hit us up and they want to learn some tricks, and they're you know not really thinking about the conditioning aspect of it. And
mhm,
it makes it so much easier if you're conditioned and if you're actively working out. And that does mean you have to be in shape. You have to
yep,
be going to the gym or doing workouts or whatever it is, separate from just doing tricks. And then it makes it that much easier. It makes it, that's when it's fun to fly because you can trust yourself and all your muscles can engage and help you. And like with Darlin, like he's so strong and I trust him because he understands the center of the woman. So when I was up there, I remember the same. I was just like contorting around and he just went with it and just did. I don't even know what we did. I wish there was a video of it
I
because
know.
I think you're right. I don't think my feet touched the floor
They
for
didn't.
2 minutes.
Now, I was there, I saw it.
You
Her
were there.
feet did not touch the ground, not once.
Oh my God. That is so funny. Darling, darling. I need to come visit you guys and I
You
need to
know what
see.
his nickname is, right? My
This
nickname
is
for him is
what
he's my Dominican catapult.
but he loves tricks too. Like
He
he
does.
loves, like it takes a certain man too to like love doing it, you know?
And it's hard to find, like, I only have, like, I can count on one hand the amount of men that I trust to put me in the air.
Listen. So, men out there that want to do cabaret,
Tell him.
it does. It takes a certain man, in all honesty, and personality to do that. One, you have to be interested in it, but you also have to like not just be confident, but also be a little bit like aware of the risk. Because I would say with Harold, like, and I always give him props for this, he, oh my God, I have to knock on wood. He has never dropped me like in a way, like in a very like risky way or anything, like my head or anything like that. Clearly, like you're doing cabaret, like there's gonna be drops and this and that, but but nothing like serious. He's always caught me, and if it's been a drop, it's because we're at the gym where we're on mats, right?
Mhm,
So as a man, it's so important that if you're going to do cabaret, you commit and you never, ever, ever take your focus off that woman. And your goal is always to catch her and never, ever make her touch the ground. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like you said, there's very few people you trust. And as you get older as a woman, like your brain gets smarter, I think, in the sense that you go logical, like, wait, this is really dangerous what I'm doing. And you become less like, I don't know, just kind of easily taking risks without thinking, just doing, right? That's what I used to do when we were younger. But
Oh,
like now,
same.
yeah, now
We've
I
all
think
made really stupid decisions.
I have made very stupid decisions, and I've been lucky that I've had people like Darlin or Harold that are like, I am not dropping you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, no, it takes a certain man that like they're, because Harold's brain, I can speak for Harold, right? I don't do tricks with anyone else. And I would say Darlin for me is the same. I wouldn't have trusted him like that otherwise. I can feel that. So like they are people that, like for me with Harold, for example, like he just has this personality that he freaks out. Like if I'm like somewhere in an awkward position or he's not sure, like once he catches me after, his heart is like, oh my God, it scared me so much. Like I've had to push him to throw me, to be like all of our tricks, by the way, that have been like free throw or really high have been convincing and begging Harold to do it. He didn't want to do any of these risky things because it freaked him out. It really freaked him out. And it was always like not freaking him out to hurt him. It was freaking out to like not catch me or hurt me. And it's just his nature. And so I do really, really appreciate that, because that's not, unfortunately, every human's like first nature. Most people's first nature, I think, could be like save myself or don't hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you need to do, as a man, you need to have that number one as your partner. And for women, that should be the cabaret partners you're looking for. Someone that is literally just instinctively wants to save you. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise you're just not going to do the risky things because you'll be scared. And it does take one trauma, I believe, which is why there's not very many cabaret dancers, like true cabaret,
Mm-hmm.
because it does unfortunately take, one accident to traumatize you, basically.
Yeah, very true. And it's true. I mean, the idea of falling, it's scary. And it's like that expression with the horse, if you fall off the horse, you got to get back on. When something like that happens, if you actually don't go for the trick again, like you probably won't go back up in the air because it's a mental block
Exactly.
when you're doing tricks is everything.
That's the rule. You fall, you hurt yourself, you need to do it right away, to
Yep.
be honest. I mean, unless it's a super bad injury, but you need to do it right away because of that trauma. You need to remind yourself, no, I can do it. So that's my advice for cabaret dancers. Yeah, if you fall or if you mess it up or if something scared you, this is why cabaret is like that crazy, to be honest. It's such a crazy, crazy
It really is.
genre, because I always say like a cabaret dancer has to do like 100 times more the work in the sense of like getting ready for competition, if you compare it, because you
Mhm.
need to do the dancing. Obviously you need to really work on that, but then you need to give the same amount of time to literally doing your tricks. Like Harold and I for competition would have designated days for tricks of hours and hours of just tricks, not even looking at the dancing, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, that those scary times that do happen. I mean, you've had it happen. Like it
Yep.
is scary as a flyer when
It's so
things
scary.
go wrong, and having to do it again after something goes wrong. You're like, seriously.
Yep.
But it's just, it's just
Anytime
that
something goes wrong, I just hear
competition.
Billy in my head, "Do it again.
Just you got to do it again. I
Do it
know, and
again."
that's why competition's amazing too. And I really always encourage it if people have the time and people that really want to get better. It just forces you to keep going, and it really does challenge you in different ways, pushes you.
Absolutely. I also saw videos of you online that you would go to a gym to
Yes.
be, like, working out some of these tricks,
So,
which I've never had the luxury of doing.
well, we never did it before. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I love about Harold and I. We have been together since the beginning, like literally as you showed. Like we have literally been from the beginning and learned from the beginning, not knowing anything, to now getting to, travel and do it as professionals. So it is really cool, I have to admit, because it's cool that we came from there. But our first trick that we tried to do around the neck, and I know people used to know us for that. We used to like do the 3 around the neck, and we started like doing different things with it. Actually, we have a different way of doing it in our new routine now. We have a new routine. But anyway, we did that first in our apartment here in Winnipeg, and like he threw me into the TV because we didn't know how to do it, and literally like threw me into the corner wall of our living room, and that's where we started learning tricks, was in our living room in an apartment, and yeah, threw me into TV. So that's how we started learning, and we just learned on our own everything. Then when we started getting, like, I actually wanted to start doing releases. I started going by myself at first. I just told them, I'm like, because I told you I had to convince them. I'm like, I'm going to this gym, and I found a gymnastic gym that just had open gym. I'm telling you, I didn't know what I was doing. I went there and started randomly, like the guy was so nice that owned it, and he was kind of like, this is interesting, or your dance, you want to learn backflips? He's like, okay. And so he just set things up for me. And then I started, this is how I'm telling you, as you get older, you start getting like, okay, this is not something I feel comfortable doing without professionals. I was like just throwing myself. I was like doing backflips. I don't know how to do a backflip. So it was so bad that this is where our cheerleader friends, Nick and Haley, who train us in our tricks, came over and was like, hey, let me help you with some techniques. Anyway, that started a friendship that we taught them how to dance. They are like Team Canada cheer. They're amazing. Some of the best actually in the world. If they're on Team Canada, they're so good. And so they taught us proper techniques of flipping and everything else. And so yeah, we now go to the gymnastic gym, which I suggest for anyone doing anything. Honestly, any tricks is best to do it at the gym first, for sure.
Love that. And I love that little thing. Can we just talk real quick about the lift with your, I don't want to mess up my hair, but that
Oh
head
my
whip,
head.
your pony whip in the air is just so great.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I haven't looked at this routine in so long. I'm not gonna lie, I look at routines and I'm like, we're all so hard on ourselves.
Oh,
Mostly I'm
absolutely.
like, why the hell are we doing so much in 2 minutes? Like, I laugh about it now. But it's also funny because we do such crazy things, and it's always this routine. The memorable moment was the head whip. So
Yep.
all you people out there doing your routines, one, slow down, do less so people remember things and see it all, and have your memorable moments, and they're most likely not going to be the crazy things.
It really is. It's always the audience always responds to the weirdest things,
Like a
what
stop in the
yeah,
music,
like what
you
you
know?
think is gonna be the big moment isn't actually the big moment that you think it is, and it's some little thing, like the tiniest thing, and the
Yeah. But you know what? Um it's always the things that keep you authentic that are noticed. So that's something really to go by that I try to as well. Like when we're getting complicated, or we're like overthinking or stressed about something being good, you know, we
Mhm.
all do that.
Oh, all of
Um,
us.
yeah, you need to go back to being like, hey, wait, what are those moments that capture the audience and give those goosebumps? It's your authentic moments. It's the moments when you're genuinely having fun. It's the moments where you played with the music and you're just being playful and you're not stressed out, right? So I
Mhm.
think that's why like they really, penetrate the audience type thing.
Was this a competition routine? Because I don't remember seeing it in competition,
No, it
and I've been
wasn't.
at, like, every competition with you, and I'm like, "I don't think this was ever a competition piece."
It wasn't. This wasn't. This was like a mix of things. I don't know. We did a few like random pieces, like that became just like kind of fun, maybe things we didn't end up using. Also, we were on America's Got Talent in 2018. So
Yes,
we had
you
been
were.
working on different routines that we were just doing to different music for things like that.
There are, by the way, for anyone that's interested in finding them, there are clips of them on AGT online because of NBC's rules. I cannot air any of them because if
Oh,
I
okay.
do, they'll block it. They'll just stop my whole video. So,
Really?
yeah, that's not cool. Even though there's no
Okay.
sound. So, unfortunately, guys, I don't have clips of them on AGT. But if you would like to see that, please go to YouTube or go to the America's Got Talent page. I'm sure you can find it there
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
that was a good time. AGT.
Well, that's what we call it.
Yeah,
Who has time to say America's Got Talent?
nobody.
Nobody. Harold's Blonde Days.
Blonde days. Wow.
I had to show it just because of the blonde hair. But
Yeah,
this
I
also
always
was
make
not a
fun of him. He
competition
hates it when
piece.
I say it, so I'm gonna say it because I like to just mess with him.
Please
But
do.
these were his days that I was like, holy, just trying to be Daniel. Because remember, Daniel had blonde hair,
Yep.
but he always claims that he did it first. He's like, no, it's not because of that. And he loves Daniel, obviously. But I always make fun of him, and he always be like, no, it's not because of that. So anyway, yeah, these were his blonde days. I don't know how long it lasted. I feel like it was almost a year, and
Yeah,
then
I
he
feel
was
like it
good
didn't
finally.
last very long.
He got it out of his system, thank goodness. But it was
Uh,
fun. It was fun at that time. Made him feel good.
Ava Apple's watching and she said, "Thank you for talking about using and learning technique. It worries me sometimes watching people doing tricks with zero technique."
It also worries me.
It worries
Um,
us all.
and it is what it is. Like it's hard, right? Because you even, especially when you're doing a workshop and you have those people coming into your workshop and doing
Mhm.
stuff. I just ask all of you beautiful dancers that if you do want to do tricks, that you just do it the right way and you condition, right? It's just like you don't do a competition without training, right?
Absolutely.
Get the technique, and same thing with tricks. But for sure, I think that that's important. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the fact that people are just so willing to do it and want to learn it. That's amazing. It
Yes.
really is. So I do love that part. But it's just understanding what goes into it to make it,
I I do
safer
wanna
for
ask,
you and for your partner.
speaking
Yeah.
of safety, I do wanna ask you, because you are a female instructor and you love to fly, what do you do when you have pro-am students that want to do cabaret routines with you? Do you allow it? And if so, what extra precautions are you taking so that you don't get hurt because you're dancing with an amateur?
That's a great question. So I don't do very much pro am. I have done it in the past though, and I have done cabaret, and we do have teams, and I do tricks with my teams. So when I did in particular with a pro am, I did a full cabaret actually routine with them. Um, in all honesty, like I just teach them all. Like I wouldn't do it if they couldn't do the proper technique. And I teach them and do the tricks that they can do. And if there's things that they're not comfortable with or isn't something that they have the technique yet for, we work on it, but I wouldn't put it in the routine. But I definitely do push my students because I want them to have the confidence that they can do it. And it helps. It does help for men that want to get into cabaret to do it with a teacher, because as the woman and understanding your center and your body and flying, because it is very different, you get very disoriented and it's a different feeling of understanding your body. um,
Absolutely.
I do definitely think that a good starting point is with a teacher, because they're going to understand what to do up there and then you can learn how to do things. But I mean, obviously not everyone has that luxury, so it's great to do it with your partner, even if they're not professional. But yeah, I just feel like as the teacher, like definitely I don't do anything that I don't feel that that student really, really understands and does well. Because as a teacher, you can't put yourself at risk, is the reality. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, with the back.
So this is one of the few times you've competed without Harold.
Yeah,
And
that
it
was
was cha cha, which we already talked about how much we both love. How did this collaboration come to be?
So we were in Mexico one time. I was judging actually Yazbek in a competition. It was like a pro am competition in Mexico. He was with his current partner now, Rosillo, and I'm just a huge fan of him. I think his musicality is incredible. He just he intrigues me, and I just made a joke to him because I was talking to them. It was the situation that we had to talk individually to the couples. And so I was in my moment with them, and I was just we're talking about things and like things that they could improve and things that were great. And I just had made mention that I'm like, you're really lucky. I'm like, you got an amazing instructor. Like, I'm a super huge fan. And that was the first time I ever talked to him. And he was like, oh, wow, thank you. And I'm like, we need to do something together sometime, maybe in the future. Just a joke. And he was like, no, I do want to. And then we had to talk about it. And then we talked to Harold. We're like, hey, we kind of want to do a project. We decided like cha-cha would make sense because that's a genre that Harold and I don't do anymore, or don't do. Anyway, so yeah, he came to Canada and we trained, and I went to Mexico and we trained and we did to do this competition. We hadn't seen each other very much, so we were really excited to do it. And like I said, he's just so amazing. Like, he's a great human, great person. And yeah, it was just a fun project. I'm sad we never got to really do it again. This wasn't the dress that it had. Like, we were doing a beautiful dress that we were doing in Mexico, and it did not turn out how it was supposed to. So this was a borrowed dress from Scarlett from Vancouver. And I got the dress now, and actually it's the one I'm using for my new bachata with Harold that we're traveling with right now, because I didn't use it. And Yazbek and I have just been so busy, and I don't know when we'd get to do this routine again. He's actually doing this now with his partner Rocio. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun project. I learned so much from him, and honestly, I love that. I love doing projects. So does Harold. Like, we just love doing projects. The more we can learn, the better,
Like this one?
Oh, is this Paulina?
Yeah.
Yes, this was in Mexico. See, I miss all this stuff from the traveling, when you just like put all these things together for fun,
How did this one come to be? How did this collab end up happening?
It happened because of Yazbek and I working together, because obviously he was in our city, and that's always the plan. Like, Harold and I, if we're working with someone, we always like to bring it full circle, and all, like, it's just natural. You just want to all work together, right? So that's how it started. And then Paulina, we've known forever. We love her. She actually, we knew her before she became a world champion, actually. And she met in Canada, David.
Yes.
And so I remember, ladies, so this makes you feel more confident about anything. Like, I remember I took my first private class ever with her in my city. And I remember her being like, oh, she's so funny. She was like, oh, I thought that, what did she say? I thought that you just didn't maybe know, like, what counts to put these things to, but now I'm realizing you don't really understand your body. She said something along those lines. And I was like, oh, okay. She's just so Mexican and like so like blunt about things. And that was my first private ever. And I remember it stuck with me clearly. And I remember being like, okay, I better learn my body. Anyway, she's so funny. And she's been like someone that I've looked up to forever. She's an incredible dancer. She's so natural. She's so sweet. She's such a good human, and so talented. Anyway, you can see, like, she's just amazing. So when she started working with Yazbek, for sure, we were like, we're going to be here together. And so we have to do this piece. So we did it here in Mexico. We made it up and we did it together.
So fun. I love a good collab.
Yeah.
Absolutely love a good collab. There was a collab of yours with Maritza that happened at an event, and it's on on YouTube, but for whatever reason, I could not add it to my playlist. It was a duo that the two of you did.
Yes.
How did that one come to be? It's a shame that I can't show it.
I just love Maritza, and I knew we were going to be in Huatulco together in Mexico. And yeah, I'm just always trying to work on myself. Like, I have so much that I want to improve on. And so I take the opportunities I can. And so it just worked out that we were going to be somewhere together. And so I asked her, she choreographed that. So I asked her if she wanted to do something together. I really wanted to work on my salsa because, like I said, I don't do much. Like, I don't do salsa for competition right now. Like, we have teams, but I don't, focus on it as much. And I really felt kind of sad and a lack of my salsa. And so with her, I asked her if she wanted to do something, and she created that routine. And she planned out the costumes, like, got my size. We made sure we got costumes. We never did it again after that. And I saw her recently, and we're like, we have to do it again. But it was so amazing working with her. I just think she's so good.
It was nice to see you do a collab of just you and another woman, because we're always watching you in partner work.
Yeah.
So it was nice to just see you without the man. Sorry, Harold, we love you, but
Yeah, and you know what? I appreciate you saying that because it's something that is like an insecurity of mine, and I think a lot of women that do mostly partner work, it's like you feel naked without that partner and doing the wows and the turns and all the tricks, especially if you're a trick person,
mhm.
kind of like are used to that easy wow factor. And when you're dancing on your own, you don't get that. You really have to rely on the dance and for sure the connection with the audience, the connection even with yourself. Like, I don't know, it's so challenging. I really look up to anyone that's like a soloist and anyone that, you know, they've even built their career off of solo stuff or they've been partnered and then they
Mhm.
go solo, like, and they've been very successful. Like that for me, I'm in awe of that because it's challenging. It really is. And I'm really trying really hard to work on myself. I actually have a lot of ladies teams now, and things so that I can be more comfortable and work on myself. I'm not at the point where I've like been confident enough to do a solo.
That was gonna be my next question. When are we gonna see a solo?
I don't know. I don't know if ever. And I shouldn't say that because I would for sure push all my students to do it, but I also am at a place in my career, in my life that I'm like, I'm going to do things as I feel like doing it. I'm not going to push myself. So I hope I get to the point and the confidence that I'm like, I want to do it when I want to. I just don't want to feel like I'm pushing myself in that way. Like I want to enjoy it. So
Fair
I
enough.
hope that I get there. You know, I hope that I get to this point where I just really want to, I don't know, present something because I feel like it will be enjoyed. I don't know. So I'm not there yet, but I am working on myself and I'm working with women and I'm doing solo stuff, but not yet for a show. Harold is though. I'm really proud of him. He's
Yeah.
doing a solo this year. So
Good for him.
yeah, so you'll start seeing it at events and stuff, and he's really excited about his salsa, and it's very Cuban, and it's very him. It's amazing. So
That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
This here, your last title, 20 this is the last time we saw each other before the world shut down.
How crazy is that?
Yep.
Wow.
This was quite the performance. I mean, the routine is just fire. You look the best I think you guys have ever looked. I mean, can we
Thank
talk about this
you.
routine a bit?
Yes, we can. This piece. Oh God, that trick gave me a heart attack. Just so you know, everyone has these tricks that give you heart attacks, and for competition, you push to do them.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there's those heart attack tricks. That was one, the backflip. This one was something I love this piece because this was I really feel like this piece, and it's funny because it's our last year competing. But for me, this was the year that we really understood how to create choreo. You know, like we were able to take slow moments. We choreographed it to make sense where the tricks were, I felt. Yeah, I don't know. I really love this piece. We are traveling with this right now because this was our last world piece.
I can't
And then
believe you did that. You went from all those spins into I wanna, like can we rewind? I'm gonna rewind. This is my show. I don't know why I'm even asking. I'm gonna rewind that moment.
rewind it, girl.
This, this. You did all of these spins. You open into a flip around. Like, what?
That we came up with, okay, so this is why creating for competition is amazing. I mean, shouldn't it just be competition? We're now learning how to create things for show too, you know?
Mhm.
But you do have a standard of yourself and whatever you want to do. And those spins, we were just like this is part I never even finished my process. I'm sorry, like I so go off topic. But we were
It's
talking
okay.
earlier about the process of the routine. And so we work with other people. But Harold and I, no matter what, like you need to always go back to like what feels right for you because your coaches are going to give you such great advices and there's
Yeah.
going to be things that you take and things that you don't. It's just a reality, right? You're still your individual selves and you're still representing yourselves and you're going to do what makes sense for you, right? And so we literally always with our routines right until a week before we are still changing things. And we are kind of against that when we coach other people, because we always say you need to have 10 full outs, 10 full runs of that routine in performance mode before competition. That is like the perfect number. And I really believe that is. But for us, I'm not sure if we've ever really gotten that, because throughout we've always changed shit. And
It's so
so,
true.
man, you just can't help it as a human. You're just like, no, but it could be better. And I'm about to
Yep.
go to competition. And you think your brain goes into this crazy, like
Yep.
extra thoughtful, like mode, artistic mode, that you start thinking of the coolest things. And you're like, no, I can't do it that way now. So when we had to like really be like, cut us off, like no to each other, like, no, we said we're not changing anything else. And this was one we did very close to the end, though I wasn't loving the ending of it. Anyway, Harold and I agreed, like, okay, let's find another exit. Thank God. Anyway, this was the exit that we just, I can't
it.
tell you how, but we just were like, it's not working. Maybe we lift the leg. Okay, what about this? Can you throw me? Yeah, maybe this. Can you go down? I'll put you down here. Like, it just turned into that. And I really do love it. Harold actually recently was like wanting to change it, by the way. He wanted to change a bunch of stuff to travel again. And I was like, this is so dope. We are not changing this. And he's
Yeah,
like,
no.
no, let's just
Harold,
be
you're
more
not allowed to do
simple.
it.
Thank
No.
you. I'll make him
We're
watch
taking a poll. We took a vote. It's not happening. Keep it the way it is.
that. I
Thank you
agree.
very much.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, that's how they came about. It was right at the wire, though, like usual.
That same Congress, we also got competition. We also got treated to this. The team, as you guys called yourselves.
What do we call ourselves?
The team.
Oh,
DA.
that team. Yeah, yeah. I thought you said dirty. I'm like, didn't we?
No, the team.
Oh my gosh, this was so fun. So we started working on this years ago, by the way, when we were in Peru, and it never happened. Like, I got so sick in Peru for a week, literally intestine infection, in bed. It was really, really bad. And anyway, just all these obstacles came about, and we weren't able to like really finish it and perform it. And you know how competition goes. We're all stressed about our divisions all these years. Anyway, it came to this year, and I'm so grateful that we did it, because this was, there's no other opportunities after this. Anyway, so we finally just like decided last minute to put together. We're wearing G Franco outfits. Like, we didn't have costumes, and we just did it while we were in Miami and performed
And you won.
the event, and then here, and that was it. We really never did it much, to be honest.
And you won.
And we won.
I love that you guys incorporated tricks that you guys were both doing. Like, you guys really complimented each other well, and it just looked like a lot of fun.
Thank you. And honestly, that is what it was. We literally just had fun doing this, honestly. Like, this was choreographed in such a short period of time, because it was just like easy to do together. I don't know. Like, this is why, again, I just love what we do, because we get these opportunities to become good friends with super talented people. And then we get to collab and work with them as part of our work. Like, what? It's so amazing. And it's so inspirational to work with others. And I can't wait till we can do that again. Like, it's just a little bit harder with not traveling as much, and with, not getting that same exposure right now, like to other dancers. But I feel like a lot of collabs are going to happen, or are happening, to be honest. People are just so excited to be with each other again.
Agreed. Speaking about being back, hello, new routine.
This is it. Yeah.
The new routine from Harold and Regan.
I didn't even know this is this up on YouTube?
Yes, it is. That's 3 videos now that I have posted that you weren't aware of. I'm keeping track.
Oh my goodness. I am definitely downloading this segment with you and like seeing what the heck I'm missing.
I'll send you the whole playlist.
That's amazing. Yes, this is our new routine. I don't know. Can the viewers hear the music? Probably not, right?
Let me see if I can make that happen.
It's okay. It's okay. But it is different. And you've seen it then, obviously, with music.
Yeah, see, I'd rather hear you talk.
But it is different. We decided to do, this is our first showpiece since we started competing, to be honest. Everything's
Hmm.
been very like competition heavy, and that's all what it's about. And it's been a kind of stressful, like, to be a competition person, because you never stop. You compete and then you're thinking about the next thing already, and you're already in competition mode. And so every performance you do, every practice you're at, you're in competition mode, and it's a lot on your soul in your gut. Like, it's a lot. And so for us, this is the first time we've worked together since before all those videos. See, it's all coming together. All those videos that you showed before we competed, this is really the first time we were here in this place, and it was beautiful. Like, Harold and I have had our challenges as competitors, and as the journey we've gone through, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Like, we dated for 4 years, we broke up, we continued working together. We went through like 10 years of competition. The stress in that is very unique,
Hmm.
and now we're at this place where we both had babies a week apart, and
That's crazy to me
it
that you
is
guys both
crazy.
had babies at like the same time. I mean, granted, he wasn't the one that was pregnant, but still.
But yeah, it helps because we definitely understand each other in a different way. And we've really, really grown as a partnership over this pandemic in the best of ways. And that's part of a result of it. Like, we just decided, I picked this song actually. It's a traditional song. He
Hmm.
wasn't sure about it. Like, he was open to it, to anything. And I was like, I really think we should do this. See? So I got to pick a song. So I was like, he wanted to do Danny J again. Love Danny J. We've
Love
done
Danny
a
J.
lot of Danny J. We love him. We just resonate with his music, his voice, everything. So that's why we use him. And I'm all about doing what
Works.
makes you feel away. And if it's the same artist every year, that's okay. But I wanted to do something different, and I just wanted to come back. Like, after pandemic, in all honesty, we didn't work like other couples because we were pregnant slash having babies, and I had a really long recovery. Like, it literally took me a year before I could really do my tricks again. And so we weren't working on us all year, like all year, all 2 years or whatever it was. So we created that in like 2 months. And we're used to a year. It takes a
Yeah.
whole year to do our competition pieces. And we were able to do it in about 2 months. And we just like didn't have the stress. We're just like, let's just enjoy. Let's just do us. Let's just have fun. Let's put our take on this song, which is different. It is
Yes.
different because we do cabaret, and we do very like fusion. Like, we do bachata, we always say. Like, we do little, like, we love traditional, but we do more, I would say, urban slash sensual. Like, I don't even know, maybe you know how to describe us, but like, you're kind of the same, right? North
Yeah,
America.
I love bachata and
Yeah,
all
like,
aspects of it.
yeah, so I feel like as in North America, we all kind of do a little bit more fusion of different things and stuff. So anyway, to do that in a traditional song, I mean, I can't think of, you would know better than me, maybe. Like, I can't think of too many people that have done that. So anyway, that's what we decided to do. And we did it in a very classy outfit. It worked out perfect with, that was
Oh,
my costume that I had done with, had made originally for Yes Back. They never got made on time.
mhm. And it's a beautiful costume,
I love that costume.
and I love the routine, and everybody in the Zoom last weekend also said that they loved the routine, if you remember, including Papa.
Thank you. That means everything because, yeah, it's hard to go outside of your comfort zone. But anyway, we did, and we love it. So we're really, really happy that we have that as our second piece now.
Are you finding, now that things are getting back to normal, are you finding a way to balance the work, mom life? Like, how is that all going for you now that we're kind of back to somewhat normalcy?
I'm still figuring it out.
Fair enough.
It's hard to, I don't know. I find it really hard to give things up because I've always been a personality that I'm like, I want to do this, this, and this. Okay, I'm going to do it all. I'm just going to sleep less, and I'm going to not have any free time. Like,
Yep.
it's okay because I just feel so determined. So I'm trying to get away from that. Pandemics really helped me to slow down, and realize that those slow moments are as important as the busy moments to be successful. Um, you need to, like, that's what the babies have done for me. They've slowed me down and made me realize I need to spend time with family and friends. I've made that something that I'm working towards, to make more time for my friends and family. And honestly, in turn, it just makes me a better dancer. It makes me a better coach. It makes me honestly just better at everything I do. So I'm not saying I figured it out, because I haven't. I have been working like full time. I actually went back. I don't know if people really know that about me, but I'm a professional accountant, and I did all of that before I became a professional dancer. And so I've really struggled with the balance and letting it go. And I've worked at an amazing company that I manage financial reporting department, like literally creating statements. And like, they've been so amazing. I started with them before I won my first competition, and they've just been so amazing in working with me for me to live out my dream, because they know that like representing Canada and doing it at this level and at my age is not normal. And so they've really, really supported me. And so I've had this struggle always. And I have come to that realization that it shouldn't be a struggle. Like, I know
Yeah.
you come to this point where people say, well, quit your job and go full into dance, or maybe those pressures of people saying like, you're older, should you really be dancing anymore, maybe focus on your career. And I'm
Yes.
just at this place where I'm like, no, you know what, I've realized I need to do me, and what's me is this slash career, right? Like, I am a professional dancer slash a professional accountant, and as long as I can do both, I will, because I do get different satisfactions out of both. And that's what I'm more dealing with, trying to balance both of them, because I do get pulled in each direction a lot, on top of being a mom now. There's different loose pulls, but I am learning, having boundaries, also just learning how to say no to things, being true to myself, not pleasing others, making sure that I'm doing what's best for me, because at the end of the day, my work's going to be better. And those are all things that are new for me, because I wasn't like that before. So those are things that I'm working on over pandemic, and I think are my biggest advice for people is to figure out a good balance of home life, which means friends and family, and work life, and do truly what you love, because whatever, that's what I'm going to teach my kids. Like, I think we come from a generation where our parents taught us, and it's not wrong, it's just a generation that they were from. It was like, work really hard, do what's going to be a stable job, get an education,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to start the bottom up and work really hard to get to the top, and that's how it's going to work, right? And just work as much as you can and study as much as you can, and that's great, don't get me wrong, to do that. But I do feel like our generation is a little bit different, and I will be teaching my kids a little bit more about doing what you love, doing it to its fullest. And I just came up with this yesterday with a friend of ours that comes and delivers our groceries for us. He's amazing. And he cooks for us every Tuesday. So I come home from dance, and there's a meal here with my man that they cook this, and I come home to this like amazing meal. And I
Nice.
came up with this yesterday. We talk a lot about things, and like, he's super talented and amazing what he does. And anyway, we're talking about what success really is. And for me, I came up with this yesterday. I was like, success. People always ask, what's success? Is it money? Is it happiness with
Mm-hmm.
family? Is it love? What is success? And for me, success, true success, is being able to, is like living off of what you love doing. And that comment, because he had made a comment that someone said to him, like, this is so hard. And he's like, it's so amazing what you do. And he's like, it's not that amazing what I do. Like, for me, it's weird, but it's just easy. And I'm like, but that's true success.
Yep.
When what you do is so easy that to everyone else outside would be like, that's hard. Wow. And they appreciate for you, and you get paid for it.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, this isn't even hard for me. Like, this is easy for me. I love doing this. That's success. So I want my kids to grow up doing what they love, like whatever that is. I don't care what it is. If it's not something that's normally like something that pays a lot, it still doesn't matter. They're going to find a way to live off of it, because they're going to be good at it and they're going to enjoy it. And I think that that's, a good base to start off of. And then from there, like, yeah, obviously education and all those things based on what it is you want to do and what you love, you need those tools. You need that for sure. It's just going to make you more successful. But that's like, I don't know. I don't
That's
know if that really
that's
answers.
a lot of great advice for a lot of great people. Um,
I
Men
hope
and women
so.
that are watching, for sure, just important life advice, I think. And and something words that I think can carry into all aspects.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of us, COVID forced a lot of us to take a step back. Like you said, like we'd all been traveling and going hard for so long that COVID really made everybody stop in our industry and like take a pause for a minute and reflect on what really matters. And
Yeah.
I think all of us in this industry have come out of COVID different people. I don't think anybody stayed the same. Like we all changed somewhat. And I think that was because we were all forced to do a lot of reflection, self-reflection during that time.
100%. And I mean the world in general, right?
Yeah.
And so what's beautiful is like you doing these type of interviews and other people that are doing, different things where people are talking about it, because it's very cool. We're an industry that we can kind of all compare stories and like what's happened over this time. And I do agree with you. I feel like everyone's grown a lot. We were actually at our first events in LA, in Atlanta recently. It was the first job since pandemic hit. I know a lot of people have been traveling, but we really, again, that was the nice thing having the kids at the same time. We both agreed to take the break and really like feel ready before we went back. And we
Mhm.
just agreed on a kind of a timeline. And I felt so different at these events. It was so beautiful. Like normally I'd be stressed before I'd be going. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously there's lots of factors. Like we're not competing, like getting ready for competition either, right? But just even everyone so appreciative to see one another. Not that they weren't before, but it was just kind of like, okay, next, whatever. I just felt this amazing energy between all the dancers. We felt very loved. Like LA was the perfect first job to go to. Leslie is the one that puts it on. She's actually Canadian. She's had love for us and like has hired us since
She's awesome. I
before.
should have her on the show too. Leslie, I'm
Well,
gonna reach
yeah,
out to you if you're watching.
she is definitely an empowering woman that was really at the beginning of this industry too, like creating and growing. And her event was one of the first ones, definitely for bachata in North America, and it's become so big. And she's really pushed through hard times, and here she is doing her event, and she does 2 a year, and it's just amazing. And she's just so amazing. Her dad was there, and we just had like really great bonding moments, and her husband Jimmy's amazing. And you just see this support, and you
Yep.
take time to care about it and to like talk to them in a different way than before. We're all rushing just to get everything done and like get rest or do whatever, like I just felt like you just take more time to like enjoy these moments. We had Edwin and Erica, who are really good friends of ours, come out and support us for our debut on our first routine that
Oh,
video
nice.
just showed. And like you just become very, like you said, we all take a step back, and those are the moments you become very humbled. It's not just like, oh, another job. It's like this is a job. Like we're out traveling, doing
Yep.
what we love with people we love, with people coming to support us that love us, and we're nervous again because it's a new routine and we haven't really been on stage. Like I was so nervous.
Yep.
um it was crazy. I was actually like very nervous, and it was just beautiful to get all that support. And then we went to Atlanta, and I was tired to do 2 in a row. Like we haven't done it. Oh my god, I'll tell you, I'm out of shape, that's for sure. And
Please, you were like the skinniest pregnant woman I ever saw, and you had twins. I wanna hear it. You're still skinny
we'll go
now.
into that. I'm skinny, but skinny doesn't mean you're in shape. That is a misconception. So like, yeah, I'm skinny, but I'm out of shape. Like I do realize I was way more shape. I had a DJ. He is hilarious, Luis. I'm gonna call him out on it, but it's funny. He made me laugh. I love him. So we're like, he has a salsa room in LA, and he's playing salsa, and I'm like, bro, you need to slow it down for me, because um I think it was just really Eric and I went down, and we were doing switches, because Erica, this is what I love about pandemic. We all have kids. A lot of people have kids. And so like Edwin and Erica came, and they came with the baby. And so we took turns switching off in the room so that we could go down to dance. So Erica and I were
Aw.
on our shift to go down, and the boys were watching the baby and hanging out. And we went down to dance. And so it was just as in the salsa room, I think professionals. So we were dancing a lot, which is amazing. But I was dying, and I was like, you need to slow it down. And he was like, okay, I got you. So he started slowing the music down or whatever. Anyway, I get to a point where I'm just like this. I'm never like this. I don't sweat, actually. I do now, but I didn't before. I shouldn't say I don't. I used to not sweat. Now I'm like fanning myself. I need water. Someone asked me to dance. I'm like, I need a minute. I'm so sorry. The next dance. I'm not normally like that. Like I'm normally like, okay.
I think that happened to all of us after COVID.
Okay,
Oh my
like
god.
I haven't
You're
heard
not
these
alone. You're
stories
not alone.
though. Like no one has told me this. And then the guy, he looks at me and he had a light bulb go, like Louise, and he's like, "You are out of shape. Oh my God, you're out of shape." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're right." Anyway, it was this moment of like me being like, "What the hell? I'm so tired." And he's just like, "You're out of shape." And I'm like, "No shit." Like, I have not traveled for like over 2 years. I have had two babies come out of me. I am not fully healed. Let's be real. I'm like, okay, I need to be easier on myself. And then I was like, I need to take a break. I went and took a break. But it was so funny. But it was amazing because it was just like, holy crow, we are not used to this, you know? Like,
Yeah.
but it was amazing. And same in Atlanta, like we were so many different dancers that we hadn't seen forever. And it was just so beautiful all to be together. And everyone's goofing around on the Sunday, you know, like the last night and having fun again, like throwing tricks with each other, doing spin competitions, you know? And it's
Yep.
just like, that was that moment of like professionals that I really believe it was like, we've all been by ourselves with, you know, our teams and stuff, or like maybe not even, right? Because we haven't
Yep.
been able to be open. Our school got shut down like 6 times. So to have the inspiration and those vibes from other
Yep.
dancers was everything for us, and it was so important, and it was so amazing, and I'm so appreciative of all you guys in Atlanta, like everyone from LA. Like we were with Ernesto Denise, we were with these guys from Mexico, Open Break. They're
Oh, they're
amazing,
amazing.
all of them.
And so are
Alan,
Ernesto and Denise. They're amazing. And she's next week's guest, by the way, guys.
yay, she's
Denise is
so
gonna be my
amazing.
guest next week, which is gonna
One
be awesome.
one of the most humble people in this industry for sure. She's just so real, everything about her. And that's really like, it's very inspiring, especially in this world of kind of dance and social media. Like I do feel like people do what I'm so bad at social media because
Same.
I haven't found what it is I'm supposed to do. Because I feel like, you know, I feel like you're supposed to be a certain way, and then I don't like being non-authentic, but I know I need to do these things for dance. It's really hard for me.
Oh,
Social media is
I'm
a
right there
struggle.
with you. I don't like
I
to put
really
out stuff
struggle with it.
that's
So then I
unauthentic.
just disappear. But anyway, she is amazing for me because like she's up there like with also like Desiree, like the Alex Desiree, and like these people that are just authentically them and just goofy and fun, and they've always been that way. They've never tried to be anything else. They just are who they are. Incredible dancers, incredible people, and very inspirational. So like anyway, I'm so happy you're having her next, and I love her so much. But we got to see them. We got to see Alan from Mexico that lives there now. All these amazing people that we just had amazing time. And oh, like all of the OGs were there, like Tanya and Adolfo and um Sosa. Like what?
Yes. Yeah,
All of
Eric
them
does an
again.
amazing time. We were at the first, Atlanta Salsa Bachata Festival with Arlen when he brought in Tropical Jam and Johnny Vasquez and Fernando Vasquez, and it was just like, this is just incredible.
But you know what? It's good to have had the break because you appreciate it, but not to the same way, being away from it for so long and then being like, wow. Like I had a moment of wow,
Yep.
we're really blessed. Wow. Like, and that's important. It's important to have those moments, and social dancing.
Yes.
Um, for other professionals will understand this, but like when you travel every single weekend for the most part, and when you are in competition mode and your competitions come up, so when you get home, all you do is like work, and you're just constantly doing that. Even when you go on the events, like you're still training yourself because you're getting ready for competition, like
Yep.
and trick people like cabaret, like you can't lose your skills. You need to do them almost every day when they're hard, like releases or anything really hard. You need to do it all the time, otherwise you lose your skills. Anyway, you can imagine like you're very tired. And so when you go down to social dance at these events, you really are working. It feels like
Yep.
work. You're trying to get through it. Your feet hurt, your body hurts, you're tired. You feel this pressure to like be there because you know you should, but like it's always that like you're thinking, okay, when can I leave reasonably? Like you're not in the mindset of social dancing. And I would say that for me, and I'm sure other dancers felt this way, getting this break brought back this like moment of like appreciation again. I had the
Mhm.
most amazing time social dancing with all of you in LA and all of you in Atlanta so freaking much. Not one dance was not like inspirational for me. I really just had a blast, like feeling people's vibes, like vibing with them, and like
Mhm.
I don't know. I just had the most beautiful, amazing experiences on these trips, and I can't wait for the next one. Um, and I can't wait for this future journey because of this break
Yeah,
that's brought me back to this place. And I think a lot of people, and I think we all just appreciate each other a lot more. And I think that's amazing.
absolutely. Well, before we wrap it up, because it's been an hour and a half. I could talk to you all day, girl.
My goodness, I
I know.
know.
I love you. Before we wrap it up, though, one last question for you that I ask for
Mhm.
everybody else. You've given so much great advice already for so many amazing things, but let's talk specifically to the women who want to become professional dancers. What's one piece of advice you would give them if they want to make it in this industry?
I always say to be authentic. And I guess to go more into that, like, what does that mean? Like, to be authentic. Okay, yeah, myself. But it's really, truly like doing what feels good to you, and not like literally like something I do is I don't really watch other people, especially when I'm in competition mode. Personally, that's just the way I go, because I just want to do the things, I don't know, that feel right to me. And when I hear the music, what it makes me want to do. And don't get me wrong, like being inspired by others and seeing shows and all this kind of stuff is really good, but it could be anything. It doesn't just have to be salsa bachata. There could be other genres of dance that inspire you to do different things. I think it's really important to get outside of your comfort zone, go take classes to improve not just your technique, but just to open your mind and your body to new movements, because
Mhm.
that's where you're going to bring your dancing to another level, and that's where you're then going to inspire other people. So instead of spending that time watching videos of your genre and what other people have done before you and the people you look up to, kind of like, I get why people do it, but like instead of just doing that, try to get away from it and try to pick other things and bring it in, you know? So just be open minded, and, you know, just always do it for you as well. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, it ends up spreading, you know, to the community and to the world of like the amazing work you do. But don't do it for anyone else. Like, do it for you, right? And so if you're always doing it for you, that's how it's authentic. So for me, that's my advice.
I love it.
Sense.
That's such good advice. Such good advice. Regan, thank you so much for being my guest today, for giving of your time. I know you are super busy, especially with the 2 babies. Thank you to your mom for watching the babies so that you could do this interview
Yeah,
without interruption. Thank you, mom. We appreciate you. For
love
those of you
you.
that want to follow Regan, you can follow her online. Her information has been scrolling at the bottom of the page the whole time. She's at Regan Hirose on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow her and Harold both on Facebook at Harold and Regan, and on IG at Regan E. Harold. And then you can also go to their website, www.danceworldco.com. Regan, do you have anything else that you want to tell everybody about before we leave? Any surprises or anything like that? Or we covered everything?
I don't think there's any surprises. I just can't wait to see you. And I'm so proud of you for, you know, doing this, because it's, you know, different. It's beautiful. It, you know, personally for me, like, one, it's amazing just to be on here and talking with you, but getting this place to, you know, talk about my experiences and like taking all the efforts to go look for those videos, and just I feel very special. So thank you so much for having me on. You are so special. Like I said, like you've always made me feel so great and appreciated by you, and you always give me big hugs when you see me, and like you're such an important inspiration in this community. And so just keep up the hard work, and just keep bringing us all together and making this as pure as it can be, because that's really what you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. I
Love you.
love you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a pleasure having this beautiful lady on my show today. I hope you guys enjoy. Next week, we'll be on a special day. It'll actually be Tuesday at 1 p.m. when I sit down with the lovely and talented Denise Cambria. So, once again, this is Women of Dance. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week.